I am here with Dave Franecki, and we are going to talk about how to make money in today's market. But I want you to listen up because this is something you haven't heard before. So Dave has been in and around real estate for over 40 years, doing everything from REOs to note buying to storage, everything real estate. You love real estate, Dave, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's an addiction, or maybe that's a good thing, but it is an addiction. Addictions can cost you, and they can
Yeah,
be,
true.
you can make a smile too.
That's true. So I think let's set the context for the listener. So when we were talking, we were saying there, I mean, everybody knows that there's a shift, right? But like, what are the opportunities for real estate agents and what do they need to know? So talk to us a little bit if you want to fill in that context or if you just want to like go right into it.
Okay, sure. Now I'm speaking as somebody that was an agent going back to 83 when the interest rates were 14, 15% to get a loan.
Right.
3 years before that, as a landscape contractor, we were getting an SBA loan at 21%. So
how do you ever pay that back?
That was just it. It didn't work out real well for my dad and I. I just said, whatever. So anyway, to that point, you can run when it's great. You can make a ton of money, but if you don't have your acorns stashed, you're going to be in trouble. Get rid of your deadbeat stuff, change your attitude, get positive. Yes, think of commission, but if you don't get your seller educated as an agent, you're toast. You will starve.
Let's talk about that education. What do we need to know? What do we need to know for the future that we don't know now?
Okay. As an agent, when you sit down with your seller, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use that ratio appropriately. It's not about you. It's about interviewing them for why they are selling. And keep in mind, the first thing they tell you is a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to feel their pain point. And I talk about this in my website, offerstacking.net. There's a whole T-chart there to find out what they want and show them how to get it. You need to prep them so today, September 21st, the Fed just popped the interest rates 3/4 of a point. That you lost a whole pool of buyers with that one move. Your sellers' property values just dropped.
Right.
Okay. So your investors are going gonzo. They're looking for deals. I'm an investor now. I'm no longer an agent. So I can speak both ways.
Right.
So you need to prep your seller on longer marketing times, the reality of the buyer coming in and wanting closing costs. They're going to start real negotiation. It's just not going to be picking candy off of, low-hanging fruit. It's not that. You're going to have to get into creative deal structuring.
I want to know, let's talk more about that. What does that mean?
It means that, my gosh, the seller may not get cashed out. My gosh, the seller has a 2.5% interest rate on their house. As an investor, I would love to walk into that and just make those payments. I can pay more. I can pay market value. With what I'm talking about, a buyer can pay market value if the seller is open at all to any kind of creative deal structure. It could be lease options, could be just an option, could be a sub to or subject to the mortgage, whatever. But if you just want a down and dirty cash offer, be ready to drop your pants, bottom line, because it's not going to be happening. And a lot of folks aren't aware of it. It might take 3 or 4 months, but the ship is now just cycling around. And people don't.
But I think like for real estate agents, like knowing you're right. You have to listen to what they want. You have to be able to ask questions to pull it out because the seller is not going to or the buyer, nobody's going to actually know maybe what some of the options are. So let's do an example. Let's do a subject to deal. Give us a scenario.
Okay. So I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. The median house price point here. So let's say it's called 4.25.
Okay.
People took out a loan 3 years ago. Assume that the appreciation you had over the last year is going to go away in the next year.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, then the seller has to pay a commission, whatever else. So that might be at par, meaning that they have a loan of 3.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe 3, and the price is going to drop to 3.5 or more or less.
Right.
So they're even.
Right.
So you, the agent, want to get paid, you've got to orchestrate setting up that seller. They may have to have somebody assume their note. And that means that they're going to walk in just pick it over. And there are ways of structuring that so the seller never gets hurt. That's a whole nother topic, another day.
Yeah. It's a big topic.
Or
Yeah.
I might come in and say, I will lease your house for 3 years. And then whatever the loan payoff is at that time, that's what I'll buy it for. Oh, and I'll pay you, Mr. Agent, but you're going to take back a note too, and I'm going to pay you monthly.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I said, surprise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. Anything can work, right? It's going to depend on what, how much cash the seller needs, what their financial situation looks like, what their personal situation looks like, what are they really looking to get out of the house. But a lot of times when you do these creative deals, if the seller just if they want the most amount of money, but they don't need the cash now, these deals can make a lot of sense.
Can I give you an example?
Let's do it.
So there's a house in North that a friend of mine listed. He's a creative structuring agent also. So he listed at 450. Crickets, not a call.
Okay.
Editor has another home within a mile or less, and I think it's at 410. There's 40 listings within a 1 mile radius.
Okay, right. That's happening.
I told Wayne that home is going to sell for 375. Their note is 325.
Okay.
Mother and daughter, they're like this.
Right, fighting.
So Wayne brought that up to them, and mother said, nope, I'll just hold on to it. Okay, they will.
Okay.
But she's got a 2.5 or 3% loan. I love that. That would be a great house to buy.
Right.
But I mean, it's just the changing landscape. So then so now I'm talking to you as an agent. How are you going to solve that problem? One, you can get educated, but you can't structure the deal because that's not what you're licensed for. You need to pony up or partner up with an investor who understands this stuff. Maybe they can create the deal for you and all the paperwork, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of investors who would love to buy that. So you build that investor pool of creatively intelligent people that think outside the 9 dots. You'll get sales and you'll thrive.
Right. And it is better for everybody, right? Because the seller's not going to contact you if they don't want to sell, really, right? But it's also can be better for the buyers if you're more of a buyer representative, where it's like, okay, here's the cash that you have. Here's what we have going on. Let's see if there's some more creative stuff. But do you think we're going to see a lot more assumable loans?
Hey guys, it's Monica here. I am so excited to introduce you to Real Estate Fight Club's newest partnership, Cyberbacker. Cyberbacker is the best in the business for virtual assistants. How do I know this? Because I am a Cyberbacker customer and I love this company. I have my favorite, Frances. She is my Cyberbacker, been with me for over a year. She's amazing. She makes me better. She's eager to help. She's on time. She's disciplined. She's awesome. And this company, Cyberbacker, has figured out the system from the interviewing process to find out what I need, to the interviewing process to interview several Cyberbackers, to the onboarding process, to the training process. Very buttoned up, very awesome. You and I both know it's time for you to leverage. It's time for you to take that step, and Cyberbacker is a really safe, awesome solution. Make sure to mention Fight Club and you will be getting a free gift. All right, do it. Make the call. See ya.
Every loan is assumable.
Okay.
The only challenge is an
Aren't they called on when they're
1/2 of 1%, if that.
that is enforced, or it says that?
There was the Garn St. Germain Act of 1983.
Okay.
You can title into a trust or something like that. Again, we're going down in the weeds there. Every single loan is assumable. The caveat is if you want to get title insurance, most likely a title company will not write title insurance on an FHA that's being assumed. And I'm not calling it assumed. The correct terminology is I'm taking over the payments.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot more narrative on this on my older website, which is seller-carry.com.
Okay.
A lot of information there. So I've been around this seller finance deal since going back to Maine in 1985 when I bought a piece of dirt, subdivided it, the seller took back paper.
Nice.
So I've been around it for a long time. And
yeah, we've done some owner finance stuff before and lease purchases and lease options and things like that. Let me ask you this. How, as an agent, how would I know? Because not everybody, not every agent, not every investor is reputable, right? What questions would I ask to find out, is this an investor that I would want to work with before I try them out on my seller?
Well, look online,
Mm-hmm.
get some referrals that way, interview them,
Mm-hmm.
and just see what it is. So, but that's where you have to have, we all have our counselors, our mentors.
Right.
So I don't care who they are, just find out get their offer, see what it's like. And see what kind of hooks are put into the offer. Yes, you can put them in, but one hook is in the prior time frame. You don't want to, as a seller, sign your property over to that buyer unless there's a kick-out clause of a performance deed or a trust, where if that buyer stops making payments in 45 days, the property automatically reverts back to the seller so they can work with it.
And I imagine that you can have that in there until they've paid so much that would it trigger a foreclosure instead of an eviction?
Well, in that case, it would be a deed in lieu that we held in escrow.
I see.
Okay.
Well, and I think maybe people listening may not fully understand all these terms, right? So
I mean, here's the idea for us.
Mm-hmm.
With your database, we could put on a webinar and go over it.
Right. But as agents, like we could definitely do that. And they could contact you too and go to your website and if they want to know more. But I hear you saying, like, as a real estate agent, it's going to be best to partner with creative investors that can put different deals together.
Yes.
Also some that could just do regular deals, right? Like just whatever.
Right.
But as a real estate agent, what do you think we have to know some stuff, right?
Find out how long that person's been in business, the investor. Just get their, like you interview. It's a job interview.
Yeah. But I mean, for like, if we're asking the client questions, like what do we need to know in order to help that seller?
Okay. You want to get a copy of their loan statement.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe see where they're at. Get a copy of their insurance declaration page. Make sure their taxes are current, just like you would if you're doing a short sale. Gather all that information.
Right.
And then just say, what are they looking for? Okay, if this is your situation, this is what I see as a solution to your situation.
Right. It's one possible solution, right? Like we do that all the time. It's like, you can sell it to an iBuyer, they'll pay cash. Here's what the likely range they're going to pay. We could do something creative and here's where I think it could end up. Or we could, sell it on the market for this. I mean, you can always give a couple options.
They're going away.
Huh?
iBuyers are going away for the moment.
Yeah, well, that's true.
BlackRock Blackstone now has a $50 billion fund waiting to swoop down. That's coming.
Yeah. Well, if people feel a little overwhelmed about the shift and about trying to learn some of this stuff, what is your recommendation?
You be a third party. You bring them information from various purveyors of information out there and let them go down whatever rabbit hole they choose to. Get them educated, because many of them are still in la-la land. They just don't.
Well, I mean, a lot of people in general are, right? But what I hear you saying is, as a real estate agent, we remain the consultant. And so consult. That's
right. Your objective is to have an educated seller so that when a buyer comes to the table, you can interact appropriately and nobody's taken advantage of. If you, the agent, don't get educated in seller financing, creative deal structuring, offer stacking, you are doing everybody a disservice and you're going to starve.
Yeah, well, you're leaving money on the table for your clients too, right? And that's oftentimes, as a seller, that's what they want. They want money, the most money. So
You're doing your seller a total disservice.
malpractice is what I like to call it, Dave.
Oh, what you
Committing. Well,
prove this and that would be hard. So the key is you want to shine and be better than anybody else out there in this field. Advertise the seller will consider creative deal structuring.
mhm.
In the comments in the MLS right away.
That's a good idea. And then, yeah, and just have a good understanding of like, what are some options so that you know. Well, if people,
Another thought too.
yeah,
If you as an agent, you need listings, because I was a listing agent. That's listings are the backbone of the business. Would you agree?
100%.
Okay. So if you mine or cold call expires, withdrawn, canceled, see where they're at. And when you talk to the people, say, well, why did your listing cancel? Or why did they go? What happened? Well, did you ever consider offering alternatives? No. Okay. You could get a whole file full of listings based upon creative financing with a motivated seller. Go ahead.
Well, and I agree with you. I love this point because a lot of times when I am calling expired listings, I'm like, are you considering selling it or have you thought about renting it? And I get a call back almost every time because and it's saying exactly what you said. Have you considered like alternatives to selling your house? And they'll be like, oh, this person sounds different. They don't sound like everybody else who's getting a hold of me and all the mail that I'm getting. Let me call them back and see what they're talking about. And that can get you into the conversation and get your foot in the door to help them.
You want to come across as being an outside the box thinker. You want to get outside those 9 dots.
Why are there 9?
Huh?
Why are there 9?
I don't know. That's just what's it.
I thought there were 4 walls in a box.
There's things in, but get outside that box. Just think, and you be the star. You be the deal creator.
Yes, I love it. It's a mindset shift, right? It's like the way that we've been doing things is not a good enough reason to continue doing them that way, especially when there's a shift. It's just like we tell our sellers, do you want to be chasing the market or do you want to get ahead of the market? Either one is fine. It's your house, but like, what do you want to do? And it's the same for real estate agents. Do you want to be ahead of the market or do you want to be chasing everybody and be one of the 85% that gets out of the business? Which do you want to be?
Let me phrase it another way.
Okay.
How many agents do you think have over leveraged themselves with their personal residence or their cars?
Can there be more than 100%?
Yeah. So you want to take those items. Do you want to follow Dave Franecki's footsteps in the past? No.
I don't think so. No.
I don't want to go into that too much, but anyway, if you're ahead of the curve, you'll thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And also as an agent, get rid of all your overhead, get rid of all that junk. Stop the frivolous spending. Save. Your advertising budget is going to go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Dave, if they're curious, they want to find more information out, what is the best way to hear what you're talking about, get a hold of you? Where do you want them to go?
They can go to my email, which is just my name, dave@davefranecki.com. And you can probably put that in the comments somewhere.
We'll put it in there.
Directly. Cell phone's fine. 480-232-5477. I have a website as it relates to distressed properties. That's offerstacking.net.
Okay. And then what's the podcast that you're on?
Yeah, I also work with Kevin Shortell. He was my note mentor back in the day when I was doing a lot of notes, and it's ProSpeak Productions. But Kevin Shortell, he and I do a podcast all the time. I also have a YouTube channel on notes and seller carry under my name or under Capstone Capital USA, my other website. So there's a fair amount of ways that you can connect with me. Unfortunately, I've been on around. And as an agent, just so the folks know, I was licensed initially in '83. in the downturn as an REO agent, I sold close to 900 properties. So I've had a little bit of experience.
A little bit. Yep. Awesome.
That's
Well, I really,
it's just it is what it is.
yeah, right. I appreciate you being on. I hope, people found this interesting and are not overwhelmed by it, but it's something you could definitely learn and find out more information about. So thank you.
You bet. Thank you very much. Take care.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Monica Weekly here. You know how you're supposed to post about real estate every single day on Facebook? Yes, you do. And the reason is, if we don't remind our Facebook friends what we do for a living and how we help people, they will forget about it. We know it's our job to inform, educate, and demonstrate what we do for a living. Well, I'm coaching agents all around the country, and they understand that, but they're not doing it. And I ask them, why aren't you doing it? Probably just like you. And they said, Monica, we don't know what to post. Can we just borrow your stuff? Because I love creating Facebook posts. And these can often be used over on Instagram as well. So I said yes, and people were borrowing my stuff. So I created finally a product that you can sign up for free. It is free, guys. There is no reason for you not to sign up for this. It's ghostposter.com, GHOSTPOSTR, no E in there, just TR.com. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a Facebook posting idea to your email every single day. So not only do you have this great idea, but you've been reminded, oh yeah, I need to post. And that's Monday through Friday. And if you don't love the post, or you think, gosh, I'd like something else, well, you're also going to get access to a library of over 600 different posts for you to choose from by category. You're going to love it. Go sign up, ghostposter.com. Don't waste a minute. And then be sure to join the private Facebook group. All right, I'll see you in there.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.